Hello, boys and girls. I am Ms. Moran, and welcome back to your math lesson. Today, we will continue talking about measurement. Remember, yesterday we used non-standard measurement tools, which were the cubes. Paper clips are also another non-standard measurement tool. Today, we're going to focus on using a standard measurement tool, which is a ruler. So why is it called a standard measurement tool? It is called a standard because wherever you use it, or whatever ruler you use, it's always going to be the same length. So if I measure a pencil and it's 4 inches long, and I give that pencil to my friend in Austin and I tell her to measure it with her ruler, it will also be at the 4 inches mark. That's very important because if I want to tell my husband, I want you to do a picture frame for me, and I want it to be 6 inches long. And so he'll be able to cut that perfect size for me. All right. So I prefer the standard measurement tools because anybody that measures anywhere using a ruler or a measuring tape will be able to have that exact size. And it's easier to carry a ruler around or a measuring tape than to be carrying around a bunch of cubes or a bunch of paper clips. And we have to make sure that they're straight in line, that they don't have any gaps, that they don't overlap. You don't have to worry about any of that when you use a ruler. Okay? So we're going to do an activity today. We're actually going to be measuring the same things we measured yesterday, but instead of using cubes, we're going to be using the ruler. All right? Remember, measuring is very important because it's all around us. We need to measure things for our house, measure things at our work. So it's very important that we learn how to measure, all right? So let's start our activity and then I'll show you your homework.
Okay, so like I told you before, we're going to be using a standard measurement tool, which is this ruler right here. It has the inches written on it. So that's 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and so on. So we're going to measure the Crayola box again. We're going to measure it the same way we did yesterday, this way. And when we use the ruler, we also have to begin measuring where the item or the object begins. So this box does not begin here, right? There's nothing here, so I can't start measuring there. I have to move the ruler over to where it begins. And then I'm just going to look at what number it ends on, all right? Because this one's not like 9 inches long. It's not, because there's nothing here, right? It stops right here. So it's almost to the 4-inch mark. It's not quite on the 4-inch mark. That's okay. We're still going to say, we're going to approximate. We're going to say it's about 4 inches long. We can't say 3 because that will mean that the box will have to stop here, and it doesn't stop there. So we're going to say it's 4 inches long. And this is another reason why I like the standard measurement tools, because I don't have to be counting cubes. I can just look at the number where it ends, and it ends on 4. So I'm going to write that down. This one is 4 inches. Okay. All right. So let's go to our next item. We're going to use the glue again. We're going to put the ruler. Going to make sure we're putting it where it begins. And then it ends around here. So what number is that? 6. So it's 6 inches. See how I didn't have to count like I do with the cubes? It's a lot easier. Once you know how to use the ruler, how to use it the correct way, it's a lot easier to be able to measure. So that one's 6 inches. Now let's get the paintbrush. Put it right here. Make sure we start at the beginning and that we stop where it finishes. So it kind of finishes right here between the 7 and the 8, but it's closer to the 8. We can't say 7 because the paintbrush is still going, see? So we're going to say, you can either say it's 7.5, or just to make it easier, we're going to estimate that it, or round it up and say that it's 8 inches long. Okay? So this one is 8. It's about 8 inches long. All right. So let's look at our items again and decide which one Let's measure the longest. So this one we said we measured this way, so that was 4 inches. This one we measured this way, and that was 6 inches. And this one we measured this way, or 6 inches, and this is 8 inches. So 8, 6, and 4. Looking at those numbers, which one was the longest one? It was going to be this one, right? 8 is a bigger number than 6 and 4. So this was our longest one. Okay, so this is kind of a little bit the same about what you're going to be doing as your homework, only that you're going to use it with Google Slide. So let me go over that real quick.
Today's homework is very similar to one we did when we first talked about measurement. So here you have your ovals. You can move them around if you can't see clearly. These are the ones that you're going to circle the answer with, but I'm just going to put them down here so that we can see up here. This is the ruler we're going to use. Remember, we're going to use a standard measurement tool, which is the ruler. Be careful when you're moving it around. Be careful that you don't resize it. And remember, you're going to measure from where it begins to where it ends. And you're lucky because this one has a dot up here where you can begin putting the ruler, and then a dot at the end where you can stop counting. So for this one, we have to decide if the arrow is 5 inches long or if it's 3 inches long. So what you will have to do is you will have to grab the ruler and put it right there as close as you can to the dot. And then we're going to look where it ends, and it's very close to this number, which is what? That's number 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this arrow is 5 inches long. So we're going to grab an oval. Is that 5 inches or is it this one? This is a 5, right? 5 inches. So you're going to put your circle right there. And that's the way you're going to do it. You can push it a little bit more up so that doesn't cover your little dots. And you do the same for all of them. Okay? When you set your ruler down, make sure you don't put it like this. Because if you put it like this, it's going to tell you that it's about 4 inches long. And it's not really 4 inches long because there's nothing over here. So our heart doesn't start to over here. So that's where we're going to put our ruler, right there. And we're going to stop counting right here at this dot. So we're going to know that this heart is actually 3 inches long and not 4 inches long. Okay, so be very careful when you're moving that ruler around. Place it where it needs to be placed. Make sure you're not pulling on it, or don't resize the ruler. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's homework, and I will see you here tomorrow. Bye-bye.